Good morning. I'm Kevin Walker, Senior Vice President of Public Policy for the Overland Park Chamber of Commerce. With me today is Gerry Malnar, a candidate for Johnson County Community College Board of Trustees. Today we're going to spend some time getting to know Gerry and learn about his candidacy and his priorities if he's elected to the Board of Trustees. Gerry, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start by having you take a few minutes to tell us about yourself and why you're running for the Board of Trustees.
I moved to Kansas City area in Overland Park in 2002 with my wife and two sons, Damien and Dominic, to join the faculty at UMKC. I had left my private obstetrics and gynecology practice that I had founded in 1991 to join the faculty of OBGYN at University of Missouri, Kansas City, where I was the chief gynecologist there and ran a breast program as well as their ambulatory clinics. Did that work for about 11 years and then joined Cerner Corporation, where I'm a director and physician executive for our northeastern clients. Been in that role for about 8 years. Education has been part of that experience. When I was in private practice, I had faculty appointments at the two medical schools in St. Louis. And now that I'm working with Cerner, I now have a number of academic clients where we are incorporating technology learning into the medical curriculum. So education is the reason why I'm attracted to this role and feel qualified to fulfill the duties of that office. Have a real passion for transferring knowledge to other individuals, and I see lots of opportunities here at the college to continue that for some very specific needs in the community.
Well, let's turn our attention to a few questions now that have been developed by the Johnson County Public Policy Council. And let's start with what would be your top agenda priorities as a trustee if you get elected?
I think what we really need to accomplish at the school is there's two opportunities I see apparent in the community. We have a lot of professional skilled labor jobs that are unfilled right now. So what I intend to do is to fulfill those needs, and how we can do that is partnering with local partners as well as other industry partners to not only build those programs but to sponsor those programs. I've been knocking on a lot of doors and met a gentleman that works for Waste Management. They have over 100 diesel mechanics jobs that are currently unfilled because they can't find the talent to do that. So it would just be a matter of partnering with companies like that and other companies who have similar needs to build that program, and not only to make sure that it's right fitted to their needs as employers, but also to get their sponsorship as well, so that we can make it more of a cost-neutral endeavor. The second area I see a lot of opportunity as well as in engineering and technology jobs in the area. There are a lot of openings there as well. The programs at Johnson County Community College are not accredited by the American Board of Engineering and Technology. So I see that as a first step. Another thing that needs to happen there is we need to also partner with the businesses to see what their needs are, making sure that the students are learning the right type of technology learning that will be transferable once they get into those roles and fulfill that, so that the employer's not having to retrain them, skill them up for what their needs are. So I see those as two big opportunities that can have not only a big impact on the community, but also have a really meaningful impact on our declining enrollments at the school. So we've had about a 24% reduction in enrollments over the last 10 years at the school. And then also, if you look at their graduation rates, they're only about 25% for the full-time students. If we do something like I plan to do with engineering and technology, more of those students will get their associate's degree there. And there are a lot of opportunities for students with associate's degrees to go out and find highly compensated work in our community.
Wonderful. And with respect to paying for the cost of educating the college's students, where do you stand regarding tuition increases versus mill levy increases, and what's the appropriate way to balance those interests?
We've seen a continuing increase in the amount of taxpayer contribution to the operating revenues of that school. It's now at 67%, which I think is high. the cost per credit hour is very reasonable. And so I think we're going to have to raise that because it's remained fairly flat over the last several years. And we all know that costs to operate any business, any school, is going to continue to increase. The amount of tuition they're paying today, I paid when I went to my college back in 1979. So when I hear people saying they have concerns about it, I said I somehow managed to pay for it myself. Coming from a working class family that didn't have a lot of money, and I was able to find ways to finance that education. So I think it's a real value. And that's the other reason why we need to really work at making that college more attractive to our students, because it really reduces the amount of burden that they have when they get done, whether they choose to just do the associate's degree or go on to a 4-year and beyond. They're not spending as much money on their education and getting saddled with all that debt.
You touched on job situation already, but we know Kansas is experiencing low unemployment rates and employers are struggling to find qualified workers, especially in those skilled and technical trades. So what role should Johnson County Community College play with regard to workforce development locally and statewide?
Well, as I outlined before, I think that's where you start. But in addition to that, we need to market it. And how we do that is through the high schools, the GED programs, and also getting the parents into that conversation as well, to show these students that there are more paths than just college, military, or finding employment. These skilled trades jobs, these professional skilled labor jobs, they're great work. And not every student needs a college degree or is really wired for that. Myself having gone down that path, getting a medical degree and getting a business degree as well afterwards, not everybody's wired for that. And so I think what's really powerful about that is now we're putting people into the right roles so they can find real joy in their work. And where you start that is showing these students that oftentimes they're looking at, well, I guess I got to go to college, but they don't really have a plan. And then you're able to show them, well, if you go down this path, this is where you'll end up. And that's why I identify so much specifically with the trades, is because having gone through that apprentice model, I knew where I was heading when I got done, where I was going to land in general. And so for some students like myself, that's more meaningful, and also it gets them where they finish up and they've got something to do. When you're going down some of these other paths, you have to be a little more creative in terms of figuring out how I'm going to get employed and pay bills and raise a family and do those kinds of things. And not every student is wired that way and thinking, well, I'll figure it out. I've always been able to land on my feet, so I'll figure it out. I think a lot of students, there's a significant contingent of them, they need something like this. And it's also, it plays to their natural abilities as well.
And shifting gears to the students that are coming into the college, what do you see as the key aspects of Johnson County Community College's coordination with our high schools, universities, and other post-secondary educational institutions?
Well, I think those partnerships are key, not only for recruitment, but also to make sure that we're getting credit transfers as well to the colleges that they're going to. And as I was alluding to earlier with the engineering and technology, that creates a barrier to students that are specifically looking to pursue that kind of learning. I wouldn't go to a program that's not accredited for concerns about, okay, I don't know where I'm going to end up in 2 years, what college I'm going to select perhaps. I want to make sure that the work I'm doing here is going to transfer there if I need to, if I feel like I will benefit by going to a 4-year school. And I think the other thing too about what Johnson County Community College can do as well is show individuals that the 4-year degree has some benefits, but not everybody needs to do that and still find meaningful work. So I think that's another missed opportunity that we can pursue, is to really give students a better picture of this is where you can land, and then completing their degree there and then moving on to finding meaningful work.
And I think you've touched on this as well a little bit, but what is your vision for the college 10 years from now?
Well, what I'd like to see happen with these programs, especially with the skilled professional trades programs, I would like to demonstrate success in those areas. And once we are able to accomplish that, we get some muscle memory, then it's wash, rinse, repeat. Get some cadence to that. And I'd like us to become more of a hub then, where industry starts reaching out to our school to say, hey, this is a need. We're situated perfectly in the country where people can come to us and have those learnings happen. So I think that's what I would ultimately like to see us, where we can land, as being a hub where this is a place you go to get these types of learnings.
And my last question for you is, why do you believe you are uniquely qualified to serve on the JCCC Board of Trustees, and why are you seeking this office?
I have a very unique professional path. Not every physician takes the course that I've taken. So I've run a private obstetrical and gynecological practice. I've worked in an academic institution, and now I'm working in a major corporation. And so I understand those spaces. So I have a number of hats that I've worn that give me some unique perspectives. And again, the reason I want to do this is because education is so important to our future. And I think I have some ability to help us improve what we've got. The one thing that I'm really wired to do, and I can allow me to do what I'm doing, is I can quickly assess things to see where opportunities are, and I also build networks. So all these things that I want to do, I'm not going to endeavor to do them on my own. I'm going to bring people in, and I'm already starting to build a coalition of individuals to move down that path for how do we proceed with skilled trades, how do we improve what's happening in engineering and technology, and work towards those things. So those are the things I can accomplish as a connector. More than being this font of knowledge. My power is the people around me and the people I network with.
Good. Gerry, I want to say I appreciate you spending some time with us today. And before we wrap up, I'd like to give you a couple of minutes to provide any final thoughts you'd like to offer.
Yeah, I think what we need to do at the school is keep one thing in our focus, and that is academic excellence. That should be our sole focus, nothing else. That's what academic institutions should intend to accomplish. And we cannot do that isolated from our community. We have to have deeper connection with local employers to figure out, are we tooling up these students to have success? And I want to accomplish it in a manner where we don't get any brain drain. I want these individuals that we're investing in, because the taxpayers are investing a lot of money in this school, that those benefits are realized long term. So they get trained here, they stay here, everybody benefits from it.
Good. Well, I want to thank you and thank everybody for watching this interview. Just a reminder that advance voting by mail begins on Wednesday, October 13th. Advance voting in person begins on Saturday, October 23rd. And of course, Election Day is Tuesday, November 2nd.
Thank you.